y'all. My name is Micah. I use they, them pronouns. I'm a 2021 recipient of Campus Pride Social Justice Mini Grant, as well as the founder of the Binder Project at the University of Central Florida in Orlando. The Binder Project came about when I was serving as the president of a student organization on my campus called oSTEM, which helps to support and elevate LGBTQ+ students in STEM fields. So the inspiration for the Binder Project came about because of a problem that I and several of my fellow board members have both faced ourselves, as well as one that we've witnessed throughout our community, which is a lack of access to chest binders for transgender and gender nonconforming individuals. Chest binders are a compressive garment, so they flatten the chest tissue in order to make a flat profile, which can do a lot to alleviate gender dysphoria and enable trans and gender nonconforming people to feel more comfortable with their presentation and their bodies. Access to high quality binders is especially important because lower quality binders and other unsafe binding techniques, like using ACE bandages, can cause a lot of permanent damage to the chest, the ribs, and the lungs. And that damage can potentially impact someone's ability to become a candidate for top surgery down the line. So although they're so important, access to safe chest binders is pretty limited. They're not sold in person in stores. They have to be bought online and shipped. High quality binders are usually sold for about $30 to $40 per piece, and many individuals require multiple binders to wear throughout the week. For trans college students in particular, this cost can be prohibitively expensive, so they just can't afford to get these binders. And the trans college student demographic has also recently come under attack in Floridian legislation, with a number of bills targeting the ability of both transgender youth as well as adults to transition and be publicly out in educational settings, especially in a state school like UCF. The goal of the Binder Project was to ameliorate these barriers for trans students in Florida and across the nation by providing high-quality binders to students for free. So given that the project began shortly after campuses began to reopen after COVID-19, we still had a lot of remote learners at UCF, people who hadn't come back to campus. So we aimed to distribute binders both on campus as well as through shipping to remote learners across the country. We knew that that would come with significant expenses, so we started looking for sources of funding that might support our endeavor. I was previously aware of Campus Pride because of some of the outreach that they've done, as well as because of their index of LGBTQ+ friendly universities. So I was super excited when I found out about their social justice mini grants. I worked with the board for several weeks to carefully prepare our application, and I was beyond overjoyed when I found out that we were selected as one of the projects to receive grant funding. We'd never have been able to make the Binder Project a reality without the funding that we got from Campus Pride. So it was really a turning point for our project when we found out we were selected. Some other things that we did to kind of support establishing our project were, while we worked on our application for that Campus Pride grant, we also worked to forge a connection with GC2B, which is the nation's leading trans-owned manufacturer of safe, high-quality chest binders. So over the course of a number of meetings and even more emails with the company's philanthropic liaison, we were able to establish a partnership with their company, and they agreed to provide us with shipments of binders that we could then distribute to students. So we also kind of worked to prepare the foundations for our distribution model during that time. We created a form for students to apply for binders. We really wanted as many people as possible to be able to receive binders, so we chose to put as few restrictions as possible on who could apply. We accepted applications from anyone who needed a binder anywhere in the United States, but we did have kind of a tiered prioritization model. So as long as we had enough supply, we would give binders to anyone who applied, as long as they were in the United States. And then if we started running short on supply, we would prioritize giving binders to university students at any college or university across the country. And then if our supply got really short for any time period, we would prioritize distributing binders to specifically UCF students, as that was our home campus and the campus that we were really trying to target. We also worked with a number of other organizations on campus to further streamline our distributions of binders. One of the most important for us was working with UCF's LGBTQ plus services. And in doing so, we were able to secure a location on campus that we were able to do in-person distributions for on a weekly basis. So binder recipients were able to just come to this space on campus. They could come pick up their binder. They could ask us any questions. And we were also trained by GC2B to be able to provide assistance in making sure that they were getting the correct size binder. We were also able to use that same space throughout the week to pack binders and prepare them for shipping to remote students. We also collaborated with a few other LGBTQ plus as well as social justice oriented student organizations on campus to run binder distributions and promote binder distributions at on-campus events. One of the most exciting ones that we did was there was a gender neutral clothing drive being hosted on campus by another student organization. So we were able to set up a booth there to both distribute binders to people who had already applied, as well as just to spread the word that this was something that we were offering to students. So all told, by the end of the binder project over the course of the year, we were able to distribute over 100 binders. The vast majority of those did go to UCF students, but we had binders go to students as far away as Oregon, which is quite literally as far as you can get in the continental United States from Florida. It was an amazing experience. The binder project is still what I'm the most proud of accomplishing in my life. I remember one especially kind of touching moment where I gave someone a binder and it was their first binder they'd ever been able to get. And they cried and they gave me a handmade bracelet that they had made for me and a little note thanking us for doing what we were doing. And that was something that was so touching to me. So yeah, this was a really life-changing experience that I was able to do and something that was able to touch the lives of a lot of other students, both on campus at UCF as well as across the country. So I suppose kind of a take-home message that I would have for y'all is just to think big, when you're doing things, when you're thinking about what you might want to do as you're in college. I would really encourage you to think about what you would need, what are services that you wish you had access to, what would have made a difference in your life. I know for me, when I was first starting college, having access to a safe binder that I didn't have to pay for would have been really life-changing. So that was, kind of what gave me the motivation to start up this project, but maybe there's something that's affected you that you want to make a difference in. So I really encourage y'all to think big, think about the difference that you can make. There are resources out there to help you. There's a lot of organizations out there. Campus Pride, of course, is an amazing resource for anything to help LGBTQ plus students on campus. And just to really form connections with different companies, different agencies, different clubs on campus, and use those connections to be able to do as much good as you can. So yeah, that's kind of my story. I hope it helps some of y'all think about things you might want to do in the future to make a difference in your community. And I hope that y'all are having a great time at Camp Pride. I'm sorry I can't be there in person. I wish I could be there to experience it all with y'all. But yeah, so I hope y'all have a great rest of your week, and I hope that the story means something to you. So yeah, have a great one.